Well friends, in this video we shall discuss regarding various properties of aquifer. Objectives of this video is to learn the properties of aquifer from groundwater hydrology point of view. So why to study these aquifer properties? The important properties of an aquifer are its capacities to release the water and held in its pores and its ability to transmit the flow easily. Why we have to study the aquifer properties? The important properties of an aquifer are its capacities to release the water held in its pores and its ability to transmit the flow easily. The important property of aquifer is to release the water and to transmit the flow easily. These properties essentially depends upon the composition of aquifer. It depends upon porosity, specific yield, specific retention, permeability and transmissibility. We shall discuss one by one. So what is porosity? Normally, porosity is defined as the ratio of volume of interstices to the total volume of material. Porosity is defined as ratio of volume of interstices to the total volume of material and usually expressed as percentage. In other words, the amount of pore space per unit volume of the aquifer material is called as porosity and it is given as eta. In fact, this is eta equals to Vv upon Vo or V0, Vv upon V0, where N is the porosity eta, Vv volume of the voids and V0 volume of porous medium. And it is the total volume of porous medium. So here this is the sketch, right, which gives idea regarding the porosity. So here these are the voids, and these are the solid materials: porous, permeable, porous, non-permeable, non-porous, non-permeable. So here no pores are there, here pores are there, but these are not connected, these are not interconnected. So no permeability, here pores are there, at the same time these are interconnected to each other, so definitely water will slip through this. So it is a porous permeable. This is a porous but not permeable because it is not interconnected, it is not, path is not continuous. So this is regarding porosity. It is a porous, so here porosity is there, you will find certain amount of porosity. Still then, as these porous or these voids are not interconnected, there will be no permeability of water. So porosity is defined as the ratio of volume of interstices, the total volume of material, and usually expressed as percentage. Right? Means sometimes though porosity is more, you will not find permeable material. Right? So this is regarding porosity. Now next is specific yield. It is the ratio of volume of water that drains from groundwater storage due to the attraction of gravity or by pumping from wells to the total volume of the saturated aquifer. It is called as specific yield. It is the ratio of volume of water that drains from groundwater storage due to the attraction of gravity. Whatever water drains due to gravity or sometimes maybe pumping to the total volume of the saturated aquifer, so it is called as porosity. So here different materials are shown. This is the gravel, this is the fine sand, and this is the clay, this is the solid rock. So here rapid drainage will be there in case of gravel, fine sand moderate drainage will be there in case of clay, very slow drainage or sometimes no drainage, similar to rock, it is impermeable. So what is specific yield? It is the ratio of volume of water that drains from groundwater storage to the due to attraction of gravity or by pumping to the total volume of the saturated aquifer. So in case of this gravel, you can say specific yield will be more. For fine sand, there will be moderate, and in case of clay, it will be very less or sometimes no. So this is regarding specific yield. Combinedly once again we shall discuss. While the porosity give a measure of the water storage capability of a formation, not all the water held in the pores is available for extraction by pumping or drainage by gravity. The pores hold back some water by molecular attraction and surface retention or tension. The actual volume of water that can be extracted by the force of gravity from a unit volume of aquifer material is known as specific yield. So what is specific yield? The actual volume of water that can be extracted by the force of gravity from a unit volume of aquifer material is known as specific yield. So whatever actual volume of water that can be drained or extracted by gravity or by pumping from a unit area, so it is a specific yield, and the fraction of water held back in the aquifer is known as specific retention. Specific yield is denoted as S suffix Y. Specific retention is denoted as S suffix R. Thus, porosity is equals to N. Porosity, that is eta, equals to Sy plus Sr. So, porosity means what? The water draining plus water retention. So, it is nothing but porosity. The specific retention increases with decreasing the grain size. Specific retention increases with decreasing in grain size. If grain size is small, surface area will be more, retention will be more. Soil having low permeability may not easily drain out. For example, clay has a high porosity. Yes, very important here. Soil having low permeability may not easily drain out. For example, clay has a high porosity but low specific yield, because draining power is very less. Porosity is more, surface area more, and its permeability will be low. Specific yield and permeability will be low as far as clay is concerned, but porosity will be high. This is a little bit difficult to understand for you, but if you read it again and again, technically understood, you can understand the concept of the specific yield and specific retention. Now next is permeability. Just as the porosity of a soil affects how much water it can hold, it also affects how quickly water can flow through the soil. Just as the porosity of a soil affects how much water it can hold, it also affects how quickly water can flow through the soil. The ability of water to flow through a soil is referred as the soil's permeability. The ability of water to flow a soil is referred to as the soil's permeability. Porosity is the ability to hold the water. So this is the ability of water to flow through a soil. So permeability means the ability to flow water. Porosity is the ability to hold the water. It may or may not allow to pass it also. Right? So here comparison is given with different types of particles or clay materials. Gravel, in case of gravel, it requires only 2 minutes to sieve the water. Sand, it requires 2 hours. Silt may require 200 days. Permeability will be very less. Clay, it may take, you can say, couple of years. It may take couple of years to flow the water. So here very good comparison is given as far as permeability of the material is concerned, based on various types of materials like gravel, sand, silt and clay. So with this you can understand the concept behind this permeability as well as this specific yield retention and porosity also. Now coming to transmissibility. This is very important term as far as groundwater hydrology is concerned. transmissibility or transmissivity. The term transmissibility, capital T, is widely employed in groundwater hydraulics. It may be defined as the rate at which water of prevailing kinematic viscosity is transmitted through a unit width of aquifer under a unit hydraulic gradient. So what is it? It is defined as transmissivity, or transmissibility is defined as the rate at which water of prevailing kinematic viscosity is transmitted through a unit width of aquifer under a unit hydraulic gradient, expressed as capital T equals to capital K into B, meter per day into meter or square meter per day, where B is the saturated thickness of aquifer and K is the hydraulic conductivity meter per day. So this is regarding transmissivity. Sometimes this is asked in the exam as a technical term, and while solving the numericals also, this transmissivity, the transmissibility is very important. Now coming to next term or topic is Darcy's law. What is Darcy's law? Henry Darcy was an hydrologist. He put forth his theory in 1856, stating that the velocity of flow through a porous media is proportional to the first power of the hydraulic gradient. What he has stated? The velocity of flow passing through the porous media is proportional to the first power of the hydraulic gradient, H by L. That is called as hydraulic gradient. Based on the results he has studied is, for laminar flow through saturated soil mass, the discharge per unit time is proportional to the hydraulic gradient. Same thing I expressed it. This relation is known as Darcy's law of linear resistance, or simply Darcy's law, and it is may be expressed as Q equals to K into A into H by L, that is hydraulic gradient, may be given as I, K into I into A. It is well known to you also. It is very simple to remember. Darcy's law is given as Q equals to K into I into A, where K is the coefficient of permeability of the material, I is the hydraulic gradient, head loss divided by total length of flow. Here it is given with the help of diagram. So here this is the container containing water, and this is the path of soil material or porous media. Water is flowing from here to here, and this is the hydraulic gradient, right? Hydraulic gradient line, as it should be horizontal, but here there will be head loss, HL. This HL measured in the field, and here you can know, and here this is the L from this to the observation points from here to here. This is the L, length of the porous media. This is the length of the porous media, and here is the cross-sectional, like the area of this porous media, right? So this is regarding Darcy's law. Now coming to validity of Darcy's law. Darcy's law is valid only for laminar flow, since Reynolds number serves as a criteria to distinguish between laminar flow and turbulent flow. The same may be employed to establish the limit up to which Darcy's law holds good. So for this, the basis is Reynolds number, which is expressed as inertia. Oh, please correct this. This should be I. Inertia force upon viscous force. Inertia force is given as rho into V into D divided by mu. Reynolds number is expressed as inertia force upon viscous force. Inertia force is given as rho into V into D upon mu, where rho is fluid density, V is velocity, D is the diameter, or you can say particle size. It is not diameter of the pipe, and mu is the viscosity of fluid. This Reynolds number always asked in various type of competitive exams, Reynolds number is given as rho into V into D upon mu, and this is a inertia. Please correct this. Instead of T, there should be I. Inertia force upon viscous force. In different types of PSCs, in Y walls, question is asked about the Darcy's law and then validity of Darcy's law also from hydrology point of view. So this is all about various parameters which affects the flow and comes under this groundwater hydrology. Thank you.